Hi everyone, hi, I'm Steve Huey. I'm the CEO of iFly Flat. I'm here with my friend Lockie, and we're here to have another episode of Let's Talk Travel.
Yes, and so today we're talking about, today's a bit more of a chat. It's actually not a Q&A session.
Cool.
We're going to talk about what's travel going to look like in the next 12 months. As we've got airlines rebooting and moving towards new models and strategies of capacity, profitability, and safety. So, of course, we don't know what the future is going to hold, Steve, but we can see there's more and more conversations happening with airlines, governments, aircraft manufacturers that give us clues to what we could be seeing in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
Some of those ones, and you can touch on this, is airline safety changes. So we got a Qantas, Fly Well initiative. We've got aircraft being cycled out. So 747s retiring, A350s coming in again. We've got loyalty status, changes around that, the benefits and being extended. So before we chat further, there's a lot. It seems like there's a lot on the groundwork in preparation for next year. So what are you seeing that's happening, and what do you think that's leading to as we move 2021?
Yeah. Actually, when you mentioned about groundwork, everyone will know there's a lot of planes being grounded, so being flown to boneyards, kept dry. They regularly get maintained, taken for spins to make sure everything keeps working. So that's airlines parking a lot of planes and not retiring them. There's a few airlines that the 747s been retired because they were towards the end of their useful life anyway. What I'm seeing on the ground is there's a lot more initiative, and I guess everyone watching this video will be getting heaps of emails from the airlines recently. So they'll be getting airlines about how they got safety initiatives and how they're cleaning their planes and things like that. So that's really interesting, because actually I saw something that Mark Ross Smith wrote on LinkedIn about the change of marketing around airline travel. Previously, it was about freedom, travel, explore, and all aspirational, all about you going to find some dream place and have a great trip. Now you wouldn't have noticed that all the communications all about cancellations. For example, some airlines in the USA have dropped change fees all completely for permanently.
Who would have thought that would ever happen?
Yeah.
Long goes the days of a $600 Qantas sail fare cancellation.
Yeah. But the dropping of the change fee does not mean that you don't have to pay a fair difference. So that ticket that you want to change from to will still have a fair difference. But I agree, the change fee itself was like, what are changing? It's not like they're sending someone in to make a change. It's just a computer adjustment. So things like that. So Virgin Australia has also got no change fees. Well, actually, I think no cancellation fees until 31st of January next year. So all these initiatives to encourage the public to come flying again, because they know that your plans might change, but they don't want you to be scared of booking a trip thinking that it might change, and then that means that you don't go. So basically, if you have a ticket booked, that's more than a 0% chance that you'll go. But if you don't have a ticket, then definitely, obviously, you won't go, I guess. That makes sense. What I'm seeing is all about the airlines, but I'm not really seeing much about airports. So airports are staying pretty quiet, and on the communications front, I had a friend who's flying to Hong Kong this weekend, and he showed a couple of videos of the airports is practically closed. So all the shops are closed, heaps and heaps of space everywhere. But that's just temporary. But I think within the next 12 months, travel will resume. Some of the things I'm thinking of what will happen to travel is more space on the planes. So there's been some prototypes of having screens. I don't think there can be screens, because the screens will actually impair on your ability to evacuate the aircraft in a timely manner.
We're also pushing towards more long range as well. So Project Sunrise is apparently still a go ahead because this long range is one of the features of reducing travel times, which means that we're going to be using aircraft that centrics around a premium focus and more business class and premium economy, like we saw with those A350 layouts for Qantas when they released them last year. Does that mean we're going to see more business class, premium economy seats, maybe a return of first class? Or do you think with the economy side, will it just be that they're going to Because I've seen some of those concepts for the floating around on the internet around the privacy screens and economy of the headrests, and they don't really seem like they're doing much in terms of privacy anyway. It's more of like reducing the seats or literally taking out a seat. Or
be like, say, a European business class where the middle seat is just turned into a tray, so you can share that. So that's probably more the temporary solution, because I don't think airlines want to actually go through the physical cost of removing or reconfiguring their cabins. It's not just about the cost, there's all these regulations and stuff, you do all this stuff and your aircraft needs to be recertified. So all these aircraft are okay to fly for safety standards right now, physical safety standards, but now obviously we've got the health standards to be overlaid. So I think they're just going to do some soft things like more spacing between each other, thinking about the layout of the whole plane, so therefore people will space evenly. One thing they need to think about is the restrooms. How are they going to solve the problem that even though you're spaced apart, when you're sitting down, you still have to go to the same restroom, same couple of restrooms. How are they going to keep that clean? And I think things like UV lights, which are known to kill viruses, that will probably make a showing in these bathrooms, which means that you can't use the bathroom straight after each person. There'll be a period of time where the doors are locked and the UV light will be on, because you can't be in there when the UV light's on, because you actually get something like skin burns or something like that. So, but that will be used to kill the germs on the surface, and it's then safe for the next person. I predict a lot of that stuff. The whole overall idea about travel, if you sort of think back, is about safety. You know how when you used to go on a trip, when people say have a safe trip, that's been brought on from the past where plane travel used to be a little bit dangerous.
That's true. Yeah.
But you don't. You go for a drive down a safe coast. I guess people say have a safe trip, but you care it's not safety. Or you can catch a bus as they have a safe trip. So, well, where's every time you fly, everyone always says have a safe trip. And I guess that's the whole basis about flying. There's a physical airworthiness part, and then there's going to be a health part. And if you feel safe, then you will go, because you're on board one space for 7, 12, 14 hours.
Yeah.
And actually, when you talk about the ultra long range stuff, I think people will love that more, because that means that they're not introducing brand new risk when they have to transit. Because the more you transit, the more chances that you're going to have new people board the plane. New transit passengers.
You think these airports like Hong Kong and whatever, you've got people coming from everywhere in the world and just crossing over each other, walking past and getting bagels in the middle, and all communicating in the toilets and everything. And so if you can cut the time, the travel, and just one plane, one crew, reduces the risk from a stadium of people to just one. Or if you're business class, maybe 50 seats, 50 people around you, that's the risk, versus transiting and being around thousands of people, and then different people in the different lounges and etc.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it's all about reducing their risk and having just one stable environment throughout the whole journey. So I see that will be it's a little bit like a blessing in disguise, all the work that Qantas have done in the past with Sunrise. Obviously, now it's not the right time to launch it, but everything that they've learned about the long distance stuff, and also gives the plane manufacturers a bit more time to build the aircraft or research or make development in that area. So I think when travel resumes to a higher level, these long range travel will be launched, and that would be very popular at a premium though.
At a premium. And I guess that's probably the last thing we should chat about is pricing. At the end of the day, these airlines aren't charities. They need to make a profit, especially with the huge losses that they've had and capital to invest, and to change with this pandemic. Like you said, it costs money. So some airlines have been quite opportunistic, like Qantas, and I think they will continue to do so wherever they see a need in a market they can fill and make money. Do you think this, with all these different things coming together, do you think the airline prices to business class could go through the roof? We know that the market's probably going to be more business focused to start with. Leisure really picks up, and that could bring with it a premium, an opportunity to charge a premium. And also people just wanting to get out of economy. Like, you talked before about seats being changed. I think we've all had that in economy where you book a seat and it's like, oh, we moved you from here down to here. And you're like, that's going to be probably the norm for economy because the system is working extra hard to put everyone in the right spot. It won't just be about the balance of the plane. It'll be about health implications. So that will really put a focus on business class. Do you think it's going to be a huge increase, a little increase?
I think it will be a large, or I'll say definitely an increase because it will be a desired product and it'll be a supply and demand. So every flight you fly, there's only going to be so many business class seats there. And the more demand there is for a seat, the higher the price goes because price is the only way you can regulate demand. And if you buy early, it might be, say, $10,000 to Europe. But if you buy late, actually don't be surprised that if it's $30,000 because it's just like an auction. If two people want it, the price just goes up. But obviously that's not something that you really want to see, massive price. But ultimately, it's travel has moved from definitely in the next 12 months, moving from a mass consumption item to a niche product where you only fly because you have to, or because you going to that meeting or that destination is more important than doing it at home or something that you cannot do at home. Because obviously we're having a Zoom now, and a lot of companies are moving to Zoom. But for you to actually have to physically go from A to B to be there, it means that it must be pretty important and comes with cost.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. Well, what about points? Do you think we'd see an increase in points required if it's supposed to keep the ratio of points to dollar value?
Yeah, I think with price rises means that points rises will have to come because they do move in step. I think airlines, this is completely my prediction. I think airlines will move to a multiple price system, not a full revenue-driven system, but more like steps. So like Singapore Airline has Saver, Advantage. So therefore, there's opportunity for some seats to be at a cheaper points level, and then there'll be more seats offered at a more expensive level for people who are prepared to pay with more points. So that means that it gives everyone some access to use their points. So yeah, if Qantas changes that model, you know where they got it from. This YouTube video.
In Singapore. Yep. So if you know where you're going to go, get in early and start looking for the seat with your points.
Yeah. And I think also change policies will be more relaxed. So if you know where you want to go, it's better to book early because I think chances that you'll be allowed to change with not too much penalty, then at least you've locked in a cheaper price. Yeah. Otherwise, if you wait to the end, the price can only be high.
So the days of booking last minute flights could be gone for a little while in the future.
Yeah. So I think the market looking ahead is good for planners. Yeah. And also in terms of planning, it's always good to have something in your calendar, knowing that you can go, something to look forward to, especially after this year where we've all been grounded for the whole year.
True. Well, I know I'm looking forward to doing some form of travel next year. We'll see what that looks like, whether that's across the ditch to New Zealand or to Singapore or one of these other countries that are talking about opening up with Australia. So thanks again for chatting with us, Steve, and for the questions today. If you have the questions, send them in. Ask Steve at iflyflat.com.au or just iflyflat on social media.
Cool. Thanks, Lockie.
Okay. See ya.
Awesome. Bye. Bye-bye.